Before there were emperors, before there were legions, before there was a city at all, there were two brothers, abandoned in a forest, and a wolf who chose mercy over hunger. This is the story of how a single city, built on 7 muddy hills above a river, came to rule the known world. How it gave us our laws, our language, our architecture, and our idea of what civilization even means. And how, after 1,000 years of glory, it burned. This is Rome.
For nearly 500 years, Rome wasn't ruled by a king. It was ruled by the people. Or at least, that's what they told themselves. The Roman Republic had 2 consuls, a senate of hundreds, and a system built on one terrifying idea. No single man should have too much power. It worked. For a while. But power has a way of corrupting even the best systems. And by the 1st century BC, the Republic was rotting from the inside. Corruption, civil wars, generals who loved themselves more than Rome. Into this chaos stepped a man named Gaius Julius Caesar. Brilliant, ruthless, beloved by soldiers, feared by senators. On the Ides of March, 44 BC, 23 senators gathered around him in the theater of Pompey. Each one drove a knife into the man who had dared to make himself too powerful. They thought they were saving the Republic. They had just killed it. From the ashes of Caesar's death rose his adopted son, Octavian, smarter than Caesar, more patient, more dangerous. He didn't call himself king. He didn't call himself dictator. He called himself Augustus, the revered one. And with that one word, the Roman Empire was born. At its peak, the Roman Empire was home to 1 in 4 people alive on Earth. 60 million souls, stretching from the misty highlands of Scotland to the scorching sands of Egypt, from the Atlantic coast to the edge of Mesopotamia. This was the Pax Romana, the Roman peace, 200 years of relative stability that the ancient world had never seen before and wouldn't see again for centuries. Roman roads connected every corner of the empire, 50,000 miles of stone, so perfectly engineered that some still exist today. Aqueducts carried fresh water into cities, public baths, public libraries, a postal system, a legal code that still forms the backbone of law in over 100 countries. And then there was the Colosseum. 80,000 spectators, lions, gladiators, mock naval battles staged in a flooded arena. Free admission for Roman citizens. The emperors understood something every ruler since has tried to copy. Give the people entertainment, and they will forgive you almost anything. The Romans called it panem et circenses, bread and circuses. It worked brilliantly. Under emperors like Trajan and Hadrian, Rome reached heights that seemed impossible. A civilization so vast, so powerful, so permanent that Romans genuinely believed it would last forever. It would not. Empires don't fall overnight. They crack slowly, like marble under too much weight. In the 3rd century AD, Rome entered what historians call the crisis of the 3rd century. In just 50 years, the empire cycled through 26 different emperors. Most were assassinated. The army, once Rome's greatest strength, had become a kingmaker, placing whoever paid them best on the throne, then killing him when someone paid more. Meanwhile, at the borders, old enemies grew bold. The Germanic tribes, the Visigoths, the Vandals, the Huns, had been pressing against Rome's frontiers for generations. Now, sensing weakness, they pushed harder. Plague swept through the empire, killing 1/3 of the population in some regions, Trade collapsed, taxes rose, farmers abandoned their fields. Emperor Diocletian tried to save Rome by splitting it in two, an Eastern Empire and a Western Empire. It bought time, but it also meant there was no longer one Rome. There were two, and they were growing apart. By 410 AD, the unthinkable happened. For the first time in 800 years, a foreign army entered the city of Rome. The Visigoths, led by King Alaric, sacked the Eternal City for 3 days. The world held its breath. If Rome could fall, what was safe? In 476 AD, a barbarian chieftain named Odoacer walked into the palace in Ravenna and told the last Western Roman emperor, a teenage boy named Romulus Augustulus, that his services were no longer required. He didn't even bother killing him. He sent him into exile. And just like that, the Western Roman Empire was over. Or was it? Look around you. The language you're hearing right now, English, carries the bones of Latin in almost every other word. Spanish, French, Italian, Portuguese, Romanian, all direct descendants of the tongue Roman soldiers spoke. The legal systems of most of Europe and the Americas trace back to Roman law. The Catholic Church, which shaped 1,000 years of Western history, was built in Rome by Romans, inheriting Roman structures of authority and organization. The very idea of a republic, of citizens voting, of checks and balances, of no one person holding all the power, comes from Rome. The United States founders read Roman history obsessively. They borrowed everything. Even the word capital, as in Washington, D.C., as in the building where laws are made, comes from the Capitoline Hill, one of Rome's original 7. Rome did not fall. It transformed. It became the water we swim in, invisible, everywhere, essential. The empire ended, the city crumbled. The emperors are dust. But walk into any courthouse, any church, any university, any parliament in the Western world, and you will find Rome, still very much alive.